Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
And we head to Wistful Vista, 79 to be precise, 79 Wistful Vista. And we see what's going on in the household of Fibber McGee and Molly. Well, actually, Fibber and Molly aren't in Wistful Vista. Technically, they're in Palm Springs, California for this episode. But this episode was originally broadcast on October 22nd, 1946 as Fibber Shops for Shoelaces. Doesn't that sound familiar?
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. Makers of Johnson's Wax products for home and industry present Fibber McGee and Molly with Bill Thompson, Gail Gordon, Arthur Q. Bryan, B. Benaderet, and me, Harlow Wilcox. The script is by Don Quinn and Phil Leslie. Music by the Kingsmen and Billy Mills Orchestra. Mrs. Molly McGee of 79 Wistful Vista loves her little home and everything in it. But there are certain things in the living room which she thinks could be freshened up a little, such as the coat, pants, and shoes on the fellow lying on the sofa. Listen to her now addressing the poor man's Adolphe Monjou as we meet Fibber McGee and Molly.
And while I don't expect you to lounge around the house in Scots gray and brogues, pleated dress shirts, and ascot ties, I do think you might give yourself a little more care. Frankly, dearie, you look like an inhabited donation to the clothing drive.
Well, you know me, Tootsie, strictly a guy for comfort.
Well, I have nothing against comfort, sweetheart. However, the creases you don't have in your pants are beginning to show up as wrinkles on my forehead.
Well, baby, never let it be said that McGee wouldn't cooperate. What do you want me to do? Name it, and I'll consider it.
Well, to start from the bottom and work up, give a thought to your shoes.
What's the matter with them? Oh, I'll admit if Prince Charming found one at a ball, he wouldn't scour the village for Cinderella. But they're comfortable.
Why, the heels are run down like an absent-minded pedestrian. They have less polish than a Mississippi senator. And the lowers are definitely on their uppers. Really, dearie, a man in your position should have new shoes.
A man in what position?
Lying down on the sofa. People can see how worn your soles are. And the shoelaces. No wonder you get dressed so fast in the morning.
What do you mean?
You must make 30 knots an hour just in your shoelaces.
My dear, I have never pretended to be a dude. I'm no bro bummel. I'm not a fop. But rather than cause you a moment's distress, Tootsie, saddle the mules and we'll gallop down to the Bonton. I'll buy some new ones.
Oh, good for you. You love some new shoes.
I didn't mean new shoes. I meant new shoelaces.
Oh, dear.
Come on, get your hat and let's go. We can be back in...
Come in.
Oh, hi, Elsie. It's Elsie from the beauty parlor, Molly.
Hello, Elsie. Did I leave my compact there again?
Yeah, honey, and I just left it there. I says to myself, Miss Merkel, I says, quit dragging that compact back and forth like a Labrador receiver.
Retriever, Elsie.
Oh, is that the kind of a dog which you throw a stick in the lake and he runs in and brings back somebody's bathing cap, Mr. McGee?
That's the kind, Elsie. Do you have a dog?
No, Mrs. McGee. I always wanted one because Mom always told me to be dumb to kind animals. But when I went shopping for a dog, I had a horrible experience.
What happened, Elsie? Get a wire hair with a short circuit?
No, but the salesman who was trying to sell me a Doberman turned out to be a pincher himself.
Heavenly days, how revolting. What did you do, Elsie?
Honey, I hung a shanty on his eye that would solve the housing situation until 1972. I was so perturbed that when I got back to the Wistful Vista Saloon of Beauty, I turned out 3 clients with purple hair.
That sounds rather attractive, Elsie. Beauty parlor work must be kind of interesting. Incidentally, you know the best way to avoid falling hair?
How, Mr. McGee?
Just duck to one side.
Oh.
You get it, girls? To avoid falling hair, It's a pun involving a certain...
Ain't funny, McGee.
It certainly tain't.
Well, that's odd. I've used that joke for 22 years. And hey, you gotta go, Elsie?
Yeah, I think it's safe now.
Safe, Elsie?
Yeah, Mrs. McGee. There's a certain fella which he's been following me for several days now wherever I go, and I don't want to stay out of sight too long, for he might get discouraged. Goodbye.
Quite a character, that, Elsie.
Yes.
If I had her job, I'd soon be a woman hater, and I'm glad I'm not, because you being a woman,
I hate to interrupt what might turn out to be a lovely little bit of sentiment, dearie. But if we're going down to the Bontown to get some shoestrings, remember the days are getting shorter.
Huh? Oh, yeah, well, come on, let's go. Where's my muffler?
Muffler? Why, McGee, it's warm out today.
Yeah, I know, but if I wear a muffler, I don't have to put on a necktie. Where do you suppose I put my muffler? Oh, I know where it is, right here.
No, McGee, please, I haven't had a chance to get it.
October 22nd, 1946. Fibber McGee and Molly on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's because MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge PPO network, so yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. If you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number you need. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Fibber McGee and Molly, October 22nd, 1946.
Heavenly days, McGee. My, look at that mob of people.
Oh, I'd expect it to be a mob of giraffes.
No, but I forgot this was Dollar Day at the Bontown.
Let's go home, then. Anytime I pay $1 for a pair of shoelaces...
All right. Let's keep moving along now. Keep the entrances clear. Either you're going in or you're coming out, so make up your minds.
Hey, watch who you're shoving there, you slab-sided bunion grower.
Bunion grower, is it? Faith and be sabres and be garter. Another typical Hibernian expression. I've got a good mind to run you in, you scut.
Oh, McGee, it's Officer Mulcahy.
I don't care if it's Ellery Queen. Get your fruit-stained pinkies off my coat collar, you ham-handed stop sign.
Why, you little spalpeen,
Pipe down. You road company Mick. What are you doing in this precinct anyway? Like the trap drummer that was playing the fly specs, you're a little off your beat, aren't you?
Don't be impudent, you larrikin. What's the matter with you today that the sweet music of me nightstick on your noggin wouldn't cure?
Well, himself is a little allergic to shopping trips, Mr. Mulcahy. Be nice, dearie. The officer's only doing his duty.
Well, let him do his duty to somebody else, then. Come on, let's get this over with. So long, Square.
Good day to you, officer.
And good day to yourselves. If I do say it myself, I don't mean a word of it. Take care of yourselves and may your cows never go dry. All right, now, keep the entrances clear, folks. Either you're going in, or you're coming out, or you're somewhere.
McGee, the officer's name is Mulcahy. Why'd you call him Square?
Because when you want him, he's never around. Come on, let's go in.
Oh, my. Quite a crowd, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose we'll find the shoestrings in the notion department. Let's ask the floor walker. Do you see him anyplace?
That's him right over there.
How do you know?
He's the only guy in the store that's standing still. Hey, Bud, where do you keep your shoelaces?
In the top right-hand drawer of my dresser, sir. I usually... Oh, you mean in the store. The notions counter, sir, 4 aisles over, and I beg your pardon. Aren't you Mr. Fibber McGee?
Well, if he isn't, there's going to be quite a scandal in our neighborhood.
Why, Bud?
Well, I'm so glad you came in, sir. The new suits you ordered in 1942, 43, 44, and 45 have arrived. They've already been altered and charged to your account.
What? At this late date?
We did the best we could, madam. After all, he signed for them, you know.
So what if I did? My gosh, you should have known when peace broke out I'd want to cancel the order. Call the manager.
Yes, sir. Have you $7.65 in change?
Why?
I'll have to call him long distance. He's in Palm Springs at a menswear convention.
Come on, Molly.
Oh, McGee, look at those beautiful California sports shirts. Why don't you get one of those?
Think I oughta?
Yes, they're so comfortable. Wear the collar open, no tie, the tail out.
That ain't my trouble. I wear the collar out and the cuffs out, but I never wear out the...
Now, McGee.
Well, look who's here to coin an old expression. Good day, Molly.
Hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, skin grafter. If you're looking for the cutlery department, it's in the basement, and for a low character like you, the basement is...
Oh, McGee, mind your manners.
Well, never mind him, my dear. One can't expect courtesy and refinement from one whom the stork delivered on the wrong side of the airport.
Whom delivered whom on the wrong side of what airport? Look, you medical misfit, I can trace my ancestors back through Richard the Lion-Hearted, Ivan the Terrible, and Pierre the Plucky. Your family tree has such a slippery elm you couldn't hardly hang a horse thief on it.
Why, you little outcast? My great-grandmother was a Cherokee Indian, and I have more American blood in my earlobes than you could get with a transfusion from the Rainbow Division.
Is that so? Compared to my family, the Indians were immigrants. Why, you're...
Boys, stop it.
Well...
The way you wrangle anybody would think this was a peace conference. Doctor, are you shopping for something?
Why, yes, my dear. Tomorrow's Miss Tremaine's birthday, and I thought I'd pick up some little gift.
Let me give you a tip, Doc, old man.
Yes?
We're good friends of the girl who does her work at the beauty parlor, and I happen to know Miss Tremaine's favorite perfume is called Destiny at Midnight. $22 an ounce.
But, McGee, I don't think...
That's all right, my dear. If it were $97 an ounce, it wouldn't make any difference.
What? It wouldn't?
No, because I've already bought her some handkerchiefs. Oh. I'll see you later, Molly. Good day, worm face.
Good day, Doctor. McGee, are you trying to stir up trouble? Elsie Merkel said Miss Tremaine hated Destiny at Midnight perfume.
It was a fairly safe suggestion, kiddo. Gamble thinks no more of $22 than England thinks of the crown jewels. Hey, which way's the notions counter? Let's get those shoelaces and scram out of here.
All right, dearie. He said 4 aisles over, and I guess...
I beg your pardon. Isn't this Mr. and Mrs. Fibber McGee?
No, sis. I am Mr. Molotov, and this lady is Catherine of Russia. We're shopping for some iron curtains.
McGee, don't be so impudent. Yes, miss, we are Mr. and Mrs. McGee.
Oh, I am so glad, madam. I have wonderful news for you.
Yeah?
Yes, sir. The 5 dozen rubber gloves you ordered during the war are being delivered to you today. Isn't that marvelous? Thank you for being so patient.
Hey, wait a minute, sis. Come back here. I don't remember... Oh, my gosh. 5 dozen rubber gloves.
What on earth did you order those for, McGee?
Well, gee whiz, you couldn't get rubber gloves during the war. For years I've been...
Hello there, Molly. Greetings, pal.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hi, Junie. What's cooking?
My wife. I came in to buy her a new egg timer.
An egg timer?
Yeah. Shall I get one for you, pal? From what I've experienced with your gags, you could use an egg timer.
Never mind my gags, Junior. You take care of the whites. I'll handle the yolks.
My, that's cute, McGee. I think I'll send that to the Reader's Digest.
It's too late. That's where I got it. What you looking for, Junior?
I had a message for you from the manager of the sporting goods department. Where was it? Oh, here it is. He said your 3 barrels of clay pigeons were here, and shall they deliver them, or will you pick them up?
3 barrels of clay pigeons. McGee, did you order those?
I got an uneasy feeling I did, Molly. But that was several years ago, and I wanted to help the Army give instruction in wing shooting as soon as I learned to shoot myself. Tell him I want to cancel the order, will you, Junior?
I think it's too late, pal. They've been charged to your account.
4 suits, clay pigeons, rubber gloves. Let's get out of here, McGee.
Hey, before you go, drop up to the household goods on the 3rd floor, kids. Marvelous demonstration up there.
Demonstration of what, Junior? Somebody invented a new can opener that opens a can instead of your left thumb?
Johnson's self-polishing glow coat.
Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. McGee, you've heard of that.
Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. I believe I have heard it mentioned for about 12 years now, off and on.
Well, hey, you ought to go up and see the demonstration. Miss Wilma Connolly of Racine is giving it.
Oh,
it's really amazing.
Really? For a man who's been seeing those demonstrations for all these years, Mr. Wilcox, you amaze awfully easy.
Well, I still marvel at the wonder and beauty of it. To think how a little glow coat poured out, spread around, and let dry can make an unhappy old linoleum smile again.
Yeah.
And in 20 minutes or less.
Yeah, but what...
To see those faded colors come back to life. To see the scuffs and rough places disappear. To know that some housewife can have hours more of leisure and rest. Why, sometimes I just...
Oh, now, Mr. Wilcox, don't get emotional.
Look at his lip quiver, Molly. One of these days, his wife is going to sue the wax factory for alienation of affection.
Oh, hey, speaking of the factory, pal, listen, we're all invited to Racine November 5th for their 60th anniversary. Can you go?
Can we go? Oh, we'd love it, Mr. Wilcox. That is, if we can get himself here some new shoelaces in the meantime.
I'll go anyway. If the treasurer of the company sees me barefooted, he might consider a little... No, I guess he wouldn't. He already expressed himself on that.
Tell him we'll be there November 5th, Mr. Wilcox.
Well, I'll get a bird off first thing in the morning.
You'll do what?
Send them a bird. I communicate with the factory by carrier pigeon, didn't you know?
How interesting. Why, Mr. Wilcox?
No stamps. I saved $17 last fiscal year. Well, see you later, chillin'.
Come on, Molly, let's get over there. I want to get those shoelaces before the joint closes.
Yes, we've been holding Old Home Week here in the island.
I beg your pardon. Is this Mr. McGee of 79 Wistful Vista?
Yes, sis. What can I do?
When you have a free moment, can you step into the special equipment department? I am Miss Beetletrim, the buyer.
Why, certainly, Miss Beetletrim, but what did you want to see?
Oh, I just wanted to show you your 70-foot deep freeze unit. It just arrived. After all these years, isn't that wonderful? We can send it out to you by Friday.
What? A 70-foot deep freeze unit? I never ordered any such a... When was that, sis?
Oh, during the war, sir, in 1943, I believe. I can look it up on your signed order.
A 70-foot deep freeze unit, 4 suits of clothes, 5 dozen rubber gloves, 3 barrels of clay pigeons, and signed orders. McGee, who taught you to write?
You know, Miss Fiditch in the 3rd grade. Why?
I want to send her a nasty telegram. Now, come on and get your shoelaces.
Look, Molly, we've been trying to get to that notions counter for 45 minutes. I got to get those shoelaces. Whoops, dadrat, there goes my left shoe again. Where's it? Oh, I got to get those shoelaces.
I know, dearie, but I just couldn't resist looking at these darling bridge favors. Every time I see these, I wished I played bridge.
You do play bridge, remember?
You never saw me bring home a sterling silver bud vase, did you? That little group of public enemies I play bridge with is strictly from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. When they get through with my hand, it makes Hiroshima look like Shangri-La.
Well, don't play with them, Tootsie.
And why not, may I ask?
Well,
a finer bunch of girls never look for a price mark on our draperies. How can you stand there and accuse my good friend?
Okay.
Hello, Molly. Good day, McGee.
Oh, hello, Mr. Mayor.
Hi, Latrivia. Hey, I got news for you.
Really?
Now, McGee, if it's about...
Look, Latriv, we just met Doc Gamble in here, and he says it's Fifi Tremaine's birthday tomorrow.
The information, I believe, is available to anyone with sufficient curiosity to look into any theatrical reference book.
Oh, well, we don't care how old she is, kid, but look. I happen to know that Fifi Tremaine's favorite perfume is Destiny at Midnight. And get this, Gamble only bought her some hankies.
Yeah, but, McGee, I told you that Miss Tremaine didn't...
How about it, Triv? You gonna let that 40-cent fracture peddler beat your time? Get her a slug of that stuff, boy. It's only $22 an ounce.
I thank you for the suggestion, McGee.
You gonna do anything about it?
No.
Oh.
If Dr. Gamble doesn't think he can afford such an expensive gift, I shall not take advantage of the situation. I shall get her some handkerchiefs, too.
Oh, good for you, Mr. Mayor. You're a sportsman.
Thank you. As I once told Miss Tremaine when she was singing in Oklahoma.
Oh,
It isn't a
whereabouts
gift.
in Oklahoma, Latriv? I got a cousin in Muskogee.
I was referring to the musical play by that name, McGee.
Oh, it was wonderful, too. But where in Oklahoma was it playing when you met her, Mr. Mayor? Oklahoma City?
It was in Yonkers.
Don't be silly, Latriv. Yonkers ain't in Oklahoma.
Of course not. Oklahoma was in Yonkers.
Why, that's ridiculous. Any schoolboy knows that Oklahoma's in Kansas. Furthermore, Mr.
I
Mayor...
didn't say the state of Oklahoma was in Yonkers. I meant the play. When the state of Yonkers was in I mean when the play Yonkers was in Oklahoma.
Look, Latriv. Let's not get excited. Let's give it a chance. Now then, you met Miss Tremaine where?
In Yonkers.
Good. Now then, what was she doing?
Singing in Oklahoma.
That's a physical impossibility, Latriv. If she was in Yonkers, who could hear her singing clear out in Oklahoma? If she had a voice like that, she should
She didn't have a voice like that. I didn't say she sang from Yokohama to Oklahoma. I mean, she played in the...
I love it when they wind up Mayor Latrivia, of course, Gail Gordon. And also in this episode, Arthur Q. Bryan, B. Benadera, Bill Thompson, and Harlow Wilcox, Jim Backus. Such a wonderful episode of Fibber McGee and Molly, October 22nd, 1946, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Fibber McGee and Molly, October 22nd, 1946. They have Mayor Latrivia all wound up.
Sang as a theatrical production of Yonkers, in the Yonkers Company of Oklahoma. Now, wait a minute. I met Fifi Yonkers in a play of a sing in Oklahoma. But she was... McGee.
Yes?
Would you care to have a job with the city?
Oh, he'd love it, Mr. Mayor, wouldn't you, dearie?
That depends. What kind of a job, Latriv? I don't want to have any particular favors, mind you. I want to start at the bottom.
You will. You are the new sewer inspector. Good day.
Listen, McGee, why must you try to stir up trouble between the mayor and Dr. Gamble? Don't you realize they're both gentlemen and nobody can win anything from a gentleman except another gentleman?
No, I'm just trying to needle them along, baby. That love affair of theirs is too quiet. Needs some fireworks. If love was supposed to be conservative, don't you think Cupid would wear more clothes? My gosh, I don't see what...
Oh, I say, aren't you Mr. McGee?
Oh, no, not again. No.
What is it, Bud?
You're just the man we've been trying to contact, Mr. McGee. It's here. We've even got it on the truck for delivery.
You look ill, dearie. Lean on the counter. I'll ask the man. What's loaded on the truck for delivery, sir?
Why, the combination bomb shelter and septic tank Mr. McGee has had on order. He's had on order for 3 years. It's simply beautiful, Mr. McGee, really.
Yeah, but that was way back. Look, Bud, a bomb shelter. Now, wait a minute, Bud. The suits I can maybe use, the gloves I can sell, the clay pigeons I can shoot, the deep freeze.
Yes?
I'll think of something for that. But a bomb shelter, Bud. If you think for 1 minute I'm going to be stuck for...
I'm sorry, sir. We have your signature on an order. You'll have to discuss the details with the credit manager. Good day.
Well, this has been quite a shopping trip, dearie. Say, how are we fixed for rocket ships and diving suits?
Oh. Quit, kiddo, quit. Don't rub it in. I feel awful enough as it is. Let's get my shoestrings and go home.
All right, pet. We'll get out of this somehow. Here's the notion counter.
Right.
Say, miss, my husband wants some shoestrings, please.
28 inches, sis. Brown ones.
Shoestrings, sir? Oh, I'm sorry, but we haven't been able to get metal tips for several years. We had a war on, you know, but if you'd care to sign this waiting list, we'd be glad to.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
I was looking looking at some beautiful miniature rooms the other day, and among them were some old kitchens. Gosh, they certainly give you something to think about. Can you imagine having to go back to kerosene lamps again, or drawing water from an outside well? Or think of the hours of continual scrubbing it took to keep those big old floors looking nice. Now, you're more fortunate on that floor business. With Johnson's Glow Coat, it's the easiest thing in the world to have kitchen floors that are always clean and bright. You know, of course, that Glow Coat is self-polishing. You apply it, then let it dry. That's the whole simple Glow Coat story. There's no rubbing or buffing. In 20 minutes, your linoleum is wax polished and gleaming, its colors and patterns clear and fresh. Glow Coat also saves you work because it's so easy to keep a glow-coated floor beautiful and clean. Wipe the shining surface with a damp cloth and spilled things and dirt simply vanish. Why don't you find out what beautiful linoleum and other floors you can have in a jiffy with Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat?
That's awful, Molly. Imagine all those wartime orders coming to life. Clay pigeons, 4 suits, rubber gloves, and deep freeze. This is terrible.
Now, don't you worry about it, dearie. We'll think of some way to...
By George, just the man I'm looking for, Mr. McGee. I have it.
You have what?
Your 3-ton dump truck, Mr. McGee. Just arrived yesterday. It's taken us 4 years, but we got it.
A dump truck?
Just what I need. Back it up over at the Bonton, Bud. I got enough stuff over there to... Huh? Oh, good night.
Good night, all.
October 22nd, 1946, Fibber McGee and Molly on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if McGee really did put all that stuff on order during the war. Now, we would normally be saying we're starting a new Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, but this is a 9-part episode. So this is part 6 of the 9-part Yours Truly Johnny Dollar story, The Phantom Chase Matter. This episode originally broadcast October 22nd, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
This is Connie, Mr. Dollar.
Well, you're about the last person in the world I thought I'd be hearing from.
What do you mean? I waited for you last night at the Trade Winds bar, but you didn't show up.
No, I got delayed on the way by a hit over the head in a warehouse on a pier.
What?
No, don't tell me that surprises you.
Of course it does.
Look, that whole routine of yours yesterday about telling me where Tom Chase is hiding was just a decoy so he could get me down there and try to finish me off. If that night watchman hadn't come along when he did,
Look,
I'd still...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Want to prove that?
Yes, but how?
By opening up and telling me what this is all about. Where are you now?
Downstairs in the lobby.
I'll be right down.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar, location Barbados, British West Indies. To the Home Office, Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Assignment, The Phantom Chase Matter. Expense account continued. Item 21, 2 cents. Exactly what I'd have taken at that point to chuck the whole deal. Getting slugged on the head the night before was bad enough. But when I got down to the lobby that morning and found that Connie was nowhere in sight, I realized I was right back where I started from, which was nowhere. I went over to the desk.
Yes, sir?
Hey, look, a girl just phoned me from the lobby. Did you see her?
Yes, sir. A most attractive young lady.
Yeah, and right now a most invisible young lady. Where'd she go?
Why, I don't know, sir.
Was she alone?
Oh, it's quite alone. She came in and asked to be put through to your room, and after she'd hung up, she suddenly turned and walked out.
Oh, well, that's just great. You wouldn't happen to know her?
I'm afraid that's a pleasure that's been denied me, sir.
Ever seen her before?
Yes, once or twice around town.
Was she with someone when you saw her?
Oh, sir, a woman with such obvious charm is seldom alone.
Yeah, well, you remember what the man she was with looked like?
Well, only in a vague sort of way, I'm afraid. He was large, rather handsome. Athletic looking, I'd say.
Could be Chase, all right.
Chase?
Skip it. Well, that's that, I guess.
Sorry I didn't make connections, sir. But perhaps you'll come back.
I'm not counting on it. A long time ago, I learned that in my job, it's always a good idea to keep in contact with the local authorities. So I decided to visit the Colonial Police. As of the moment, I needed a shoulder to do a little crying on. The shoulder in this case turned out to belong to an Inspector Whitsett.
Let me see if I have this thing straight, Mr. Dollar. This chap you're looking for, Tom Chase, embezzled some money from the New York investment firm in which he was a junior partner.
Yeah, that's right, Inspector. Everson and Chase was the firm. $120,000 was the amount.
100? My goodness, Chase must be rather clever, swindler.
Yeah, and pretty speedy, too. He's kept 2 jumps ahead of me all the way.
And you think he's traveling under the name of Tom James?
I'm sure of it. In New Orleans, a man named Freddie Quintana told me Chase and James are one and the same, and showed me some handwriting to prove it.
But Chase eluded you in New Orleans.
Yeah. Quintana was going to turn him over to me for a price, but then he turned up dead in an alley.
So your friend Chase is dangerous as well as clever. Why? You do have your problems, don't you?
A bucket full of them, Inspector.
And now you think that this Chase or James is hiding here in Barbados?
Well, I'm pretty sure of it. You see, he left New Orleans in a hurry after Quintana's murder.
Understandably.
But he burned some papers, not completely, and we found one with some numbers on it. They turned out to be about a ship sailing. I intercepted the ship at Haiti, but learned that Chase had gotten off in Havana.
I see.
The Havana police found out for me that he'd bought a plane ticket here to Barbados.
And so here you are. Well, I must say you're persistent.
Oh, yeah. But so far it's got me one big nothing. I thought my luck had changed when I met Connie last night, but apparently that was just a decoy.
Connie?
Yeah, here. Here, I've written down a description of her. I'd sure appreciate it if you could help me find her.
Yeah. Oh, I say, from this description, it sounds as though it would be a pleasure to find her, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, Inspector. She's quite a dish.
How does this Connie enter into the situation?
Well, pretty basically. You see, nobody up in New York could figure out why Chase had turned sour. His senior partner, George Everson, was mystified, and so was Chase's wife, Lola. But I guess the reason was pretty obvious right from the start, except nobody wanted to face up to it.
I take it you refer to perhaps the classic reason, another woman.
Right. I found out that Chase's New Orleans hideout had been arranged for him by a woman. Then last night, Connie told me she knew where Chase was, and for enough money to get back to the States, she'd tell me.
Well, then this Connie would appear to be the other woman, huh?
Yeah. She said she wanted out, but it turned out to be a trap.
Oh? How so?
Well, she set up a meeting for us last night, but on the way to it, I got slugged.
Oh?
Apparently, a night watchman came along right afterwards. Otherwise, I suppose Chase would have finished me off. One thing I don't get, though.
What's that?
Well, why would Connie call me from the hotel lobby this morning, then duck out before I could get downstairs?
Was she alone when she left?
According to the clerk, yes. Oh, I know what you're thinking, Inspector. Could be she still wanted to go through with the deal, but spotted Chase closing in, so she ducked out.
Something like that. Well, Mr. Dollar, it would appear you're stymied unless you can find Connie again.
Stymied? Inspector, I'm scuttled.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dollar.
Clerk, has that girl been back?
The one you called, Connie?
Yeah.
No, sir. I've been keeping an eye out for her here in the lobby, but I've seen no sign of her.
No calls or messages for me, huh?
No, sir. If I see her, of course, I'll get in touch with you immediately. You'll be in your room?
No, I'll be at the Trade Winds bar.
The Trade Winds? Well, that's one of the waterfront bars, isn't it, Mr. Dollar?
That's right.
It's none of my business, sir, but I would be just a bit careful if I were you.
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, that part of town, sir, it's not the best.
Oh, you're telling me. I got hit over the head down in that part of town last night.
And now you're going back there?
Real glutton for punishment, huh? My thought was that the Trade Winds bar was as good a place to go as any at the moment. Connie had wanted me to meet her there last night. If she really was on the up and up, she might try to contact me there again. The Trade Winds was a typical waterfront dive. Through the swirling smoke, I could make out sailors, fishermen, West Indians, and tourists all rubbing elbows. Item 22, 50 cents, 2 rum punches. They came cheap there. Halfway through the second one, I spotted someone in the doorway, Connie. But then she saw me and ducked out fast. So she didn't want to contact me. but I sure wanted to contact her. I went out the side door. My hunch was right. She was trying the alley. I stepped in front of her.
Let go of me.
Oh, no, baby. Just stay put. Stay
Please.
put.
I don't know what this is all about. Honest, Mr.
Now,
Dollar.
look. This is no time to start playing coy. Where's Chase?
I don't know.
Come on, come on.
Please, you must believe me. I should never have come to you in the first place. I'm not Chase's girlfriend like you think.
Oh, try again, sister.
Really, I'm telling the truth, Mr. Dollar. I know I posed to you as his girl, but I'm really not.
Look.
I was trying to work something for myself. When you started talking about murder, I realized I was getting involved in things I shouldn't.
What are you talking about?
Honestly, I can explain everything to you, Mr. Dollar.
Okay. Inside. That's just what you're gonna do. Look, we'll take this table right here. Go on, sit down. All right, now, Connie, let's have it.
Mr. Dollar, I want you to know I'm pretty ashamed of myself for what I was trying to do. It was wrong. I should have realized it sooner.
Less editorial and more news, huh?
Well, I met Tom Chase, or Tom James as he calls himself, here in Barbados a couple of days ago.
A couple of days ago? You mean in New York a long time ago, don't you, Connie?
No, Mr. Dollar, I wasn't Chase's girlfriend. I'd never seen him before 2 days ago, right here.
Go on.
I had a date with him. Then I found out you'd been asking around town for him, so I decided on a plan.
So?
I found you and told you I knew where Chase was. You thought I was his girl, and so I went along with it. I was supposed to have a date with him last night here at the Trade Winds, but he didn't come.
He was too busy hitting me over the head at the time. You telling me the truth, Connie?
I swear it.
Then there's one big question. Why did you do it?
Because I'm broke, Mr. Dollar. I'm stranded here in Barbados, and I want to go back to the States. I thought
You
that
were
if-
going to put the finger on him for enough dough to get back to the States, huh?
I'm afraid that's about it.
And you don't have any idea where he is now?
None at all.
Well, that's just fine. My last lead, out the window.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dollar.
You're sorry. Look, did he mention his girlfriend to you?
He did say he was expecting a friend down here.
They probably had it rigged for her to meet him here later. He didn't give you any indication where he was staying, huh?
No.
Or what his future plans were?
No. There was one thing.
Well, what was it?
Well, I don't know if it means anything
Come
or
on,
not.
let's have it.
Well, we were here at the Trade Winds night before last. Afterwards, we walked around the waterfront for a while.
Yeah?
Tom stopped and talked to one of the fishermen there for quite a while.
Ah. Could you hear what they were saying?
No, they left me and went off to one side.
Now, listen, Connie. Do you think you'd recognize that fisherman if you saw him again?
Yes, I think so.
Then come on. We went outside. It was sunset. A few fishermen were scattered along the wharves, mending nets, getting their gear in shape. We gave each one of them the once-over, then kept going. Suddenly, Connie stopped.
There he is, Johnny. The one who's yawning.
Okay, thanks. You stay here. Good evening.
Good evening.
You don't sound very convinced.
Oh, sure, it's a good evening. Soon it will be a good night, and then I can go to bed.
Hey, look, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Mind staying awake a few minutes?
But it's that I'm tired. Last night I worked all night.
Oh? Fishing really must be good around here.
It's not the fishing, it was the passenger.
Passenger? Who?
He don't give his name.
Where'd you take him?
Lagos Island.
Where's that?
3 hours by boat from here.
What's there?
Nothing.
Nothing.
A small abandoned pier, an old abandoned house. Nothing else. Nobody else.
Uh-huh. You let him off there, huh?
Yes, but he should be comfortable. He took much food with him.
You mean he's there now, then?
Sure. There are no boats there, and nobody could swim so far.
I see. Okay, partner. Thanks a lot. Pleasant dreams. At this point, it looked real easy. And I began to wonder if it wasn't a little too easy. Chase sitting there on Lagos Island with no way to get off. All I had to do was hire myself a boat and go pick him up. I looked at the fisherman. He smiled at me politely. I looked back at Connie. She smiled too. Yeah, everything could be on the up and up. Or it could be a great big trap. But one thing was clear. I was going to have to go to Lagos Island to find out.
now, here's our star to tell you about the next exciting episode of this story.
Getting to the island of Lagos? Easy. But getting away from it in one piece, that's a different story. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Robert Reif, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us for the next exciting episode of this story on Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
And that is part 6 of the 9-part Yours truly, Johnny Dollar story, The Phantom Chase Matter, October 22nd, 1956, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. I always like mentioning my friend Ted at radiomemories.com. Check out his webpage. He supplies programs on cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer, radiomemories.com. While you're on the internet, visit my webpage, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows on demand. Learn more about classic radio collecting. You can find a list of podcast sites where you can download our shows via podcast. You can also find our social media links. You can contact me, and you can buy me a copy. The Buy Me a Coffee money goes for us to acquire additional great classic radio collections for you here on your favorite station. It's classicradio.stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the radio dial. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Have a great day.